What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action. We're in the semi-finals here, Kimo versus Recon. And the first thing you're going to notice is that we are already 1-0 for Recon here. In classic King Kimo fashion, he comes into the tournament 30 minutes late or something, and I believe he got penalized for it. I don't know the full story. I can't tell you it, but he was penalized because he wasn't there in time for the draft. So, it's game number 2. Technically game number 1, but game number 2. Recon up 1-0, winning that first game very, very convincingly with the DNP. But we're going to see a Ra versus Uranus here on the map Giza. I love this matchup here for the Uranus. I'm sure that Kimo is going to be very happy to be playing this one. He himself has been very vocal about kind of what he thinks the state of Egyptian is. And while I do think that there are a lot of really, really good matchups for Egyptian, definitely for Ra, Atlantean is not one of them. I think Atlantean is one of the better gods to play against Ra. Doesn't mean you can't win with Ra. Doesn't mean you can't outplay with Ra. Just that, you know, Uranus, Gaia, Kronos, all going to be very, very powerful against this god. So we'll see which way Recon's going to go. Now, what I think we're going to see here most of the time is Recon, he's either going to go for Bast and make Sphinx because he loves to do that, or he's going to go for the dart angle with Wadgets and try and deny town centers. He's already getting obelisks up all over the map. You can see he's pushed down onto this bottom town center, ensuring that he's got some good line of sight on that so that he can shifting sands down there if need be, and all the other good stuff. So temple coming up as well for Recon here. If he can deny the far second town center of the Uranus, which I don't actually think is possible if the Uranus player goes with the Kavoth style, which is a fast sky passage, or not fast sky passage, the sky passage kind of fast second town center. It's very, very tough to stop an Uranus player getting a fast second town center, especially if they go through Prometheus as well. Nonetheless, if Recon can deny that, then the game gets a little bit more funky because it's hard for the Uranus play to kind of deal with that classical fight. That being said, there is a one town center Uranus play that's also really, really good. But Kimo's style is very defensively orientated. We saw El Matador showing, I believe it was against the Rappel, the one town center style that works here for Uranus. I think it's very, very powerful. Nonetheless, we're seeing Bast here for Recon. So I'm not actually surprised to see this. I've talked to Recon about this quite a bit, actually, and he tells me, you know, yeah, Dar is really good. Wadgets are really good. I'm just not very good at them. That's words out of his own mouth. He finds it very difficult to use them, and he finds himself having a lot more success with going for Bast. So that's why he prefers this angle. But Kimo's going to have himself a whole bunch of Valors to use. He's probably going to be dropping them onto his villages here. He's got no real problems getting a second town center against Bast. Sphinx aren't going to do anything to the heroized citizen. He's already moving over there to drop it. He hasn't actually dropped any sort of these sky passages, which have been very, very important into sort of Uranus' success early on. But he's going to be able to get them later. Anyways, now beyond this, I'm not exactly sure what Recon's plan is going to be. He can go one town center if he wants. He can go 2 town centers here if he scouts this out, which I don't think he has. He's obviously spotted the back town center. And if you take a quick look at the score, it's going to drop. I think it dropped when the town center was there. I'm not sure. Maybe they fixed that. I haven't actually been paying attention to it recently. Maybe they fixed it. Fingers crossed. I think that would be kind of sick. Anyways, he's going to be sending the Sphinx over there to get a little bit of a look-see. There's a Promethean waiting and the Hero Citizen, plus another Valor going to be up as well. And in stock standard Kimo's fashion, he's also got himself Theft of Fire, which while it does technically slow down the town center because it slows down how fast you can build it, you have to get yourself an economic guild and get the Theft of Fire technology, which both together, a bit of resources, you can start the town center faster, does actually speed the town center up as well on the build time, plus get you more resources if you're just going to spam Valors onto citizens all day. So it's not a terrible idea from Kimo. It's very, very nice. But Recon here, he's just going to be going full send, it looks like, as the town center is now going to be completing. Now, the next question here is really for Kimo is, if Recon, which he is going for a one town center play, if Recon continues this one town center play, doesn't drop a second town center, but goes for an all-in, he has to figure out how to defend this gigantic amount of pressure which the Ra is going to exert. It's only 2 monuments, so it's not going to be a crazy amount of Sphinx, but Eclipse plus the Spearman and everything else can just completely dominate a town center, dominate a position. And you have to consider giving stuff up. Now, the beautiful thing with Uranus is I could be on any gold mine on the map at any point. Now, they're all currently being spotted by obelisks and things like that, but as look at Recon, he's got like 4 priests out already. He is spamming these obelisks. It's going to be very hard to Uranus on Recon in this one, but if you pick off a couple of these obelisks, you sneak up a sky passage in the corner of the map, there's going to be options to sneak gold mines and things like that here as well, as the Sphinx going to be jumping in, getting a little bit of a raid, and Kimo just says, I'm going to turn around and shank. He's actually a big fan of this, I've noticed. He loves a good, well, you're going to raid me with 1 unit, no worries, I don't care what it is, I'll just turn around and shank it for a bit, and trade a little bit of villager HP for whatever the other unit HP is. But nonetheless, the big problem here for Kimo is just going to be on the second gold mine. So Kimo going to town center here, trying to defend this second gold mine. This is basically everything. As the citizens getting caught out over here, shockwave being used. He can't get out. He does get out of there. He's out of there, and he's into the tower. Can heroize those back up. A couple of Murmillos here need to pull back. Watchtowers will come through here as the Sphinx now targeting down onto the villages here into the main base, but still no significant damage done by Recon just yet. No villager kills. The villager differential is starting to get out of control here. As one hero citizen onto a Sphinx over here. Recon not paying attention does end up losing that one. Nice little snipe there. Every Sphinx snipe here matters because the numbers are just going to keep building. Damage is going to keep coming through, and then the units are going to get healed up. Very, very difficult to deal with it if the numbers are there and an Eclipse comes through. But what we're seeing now from Kimo, which I love, is just getting some Karaballister out. These are incredibly powerful. Also sniping down an Obelisk on the front here. Love that. With a Hero Oracle, going to be able to drop either a mana or a Sky Passage or something there. And now the second town center for Recon comes in. And this changes things quite a lot, because this is basically Recon saying, hey, I give up on my significant pressure here. Kimo should be able to take his advantage, which is just getting units out and securing his position. And there's not really going to be a timing here for Recon. At least there shouldn't be, if Kimo plays this well. And Recon's going to have to find a very, very different way forward. He has to kill off a lot of villagers here, probably like 10, maybe 10 villagers at this point to kind of get to an equal position, because these villagers are going to keep... They're also like getting heroized as well, so that's a big deal. Kimo, no reaction there from that raid as Recon just comes in, 1 citizen down. 2 citizens down here. Going to be 3 citizens. Wow, this is a lot of... This is exactly what Recon... I said 10 villagers. He's just gotten 4. He's just gotten 5 here if this one goes down as well. That's absolutely huge. Okay. All right. Game is back on. I thought Kimo was completely fine here in a great spot. But one misplay from Kimo there. I think he was getting distracted by Recon on the top side. One misplay there, and the game is back on. Game is very, very close to equal right now, if not favoring Recon. Armory to come down, barracks coming through, slingers also needed to deal with those Karaballister. The Karaballister is a fantastic unit to use against Spearmen, Axemen, but the Slinger does a lot of work. And I guess the next point here is going to be, can Recon now build in this classical age to push forward and push Kimo off of his forward gold mine and then try and prevent that back gold mine from getting grabbed and all the good stuff there? Or is he going to have to go next age and maybe try and take this to mythic age with Osiris and try and build up a Deathball comp, which potentially Kimo can't deal with? But at the moment, Kimo's army is looking very, very strong. 2 hero Karaballister. The Murmillos here are also... They're not amazing because no Bite of the Shark, but they're the front line that he needs. And good spacing with his Carabalis or staying away from the slingers should be enough here. As wow, Recon is just, he doesn't even care. He wants the efficiency. There's a Pegasus scouting out those villages in the back corner there, but another little bit of a raid into the main base here. There is access to a Valor, but Kimo still, he's been a little bit. His reactions are a little bit on the slow side here, it seems like. This game is an Oracle getting sniped down as well. Nice little spot there. Low HP Citizen also going to... Wow, these villages, these raids here from these Sphinx are just doing work. And now we see Sekhmet coming through. And the big thing here is that Recon hasn't used Eclipse yet. And it just gets stronger as the game goes on, because you're now, instead of there just being on Sphinx, it's going to be on Scarabs, or it potentially could be on Avengers or Mummies. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. It's all strong. And it's all going to be even more powerful, unless, obviously, Kimo can get a full heroized army here. But Kimo, for the moment, basically stuck in the Classical Age. He is building out more Oracles here, trying to get himself a whole bunch, or a little bit of an answer, I would say, to this army of Recon. But in spamming out Prometheans here, that does open the door for the Osiris angle, which is always something that the Ra player is going to be wanting to do. On top of this, Recon hasn't used Rain yet, so he's got a really big economic boost coming for him very, very quickly, as the Citadel Center does come through, and that's just going to be for the economic benefit of it, plus the extra population, as the Spearman coming through yet again. Another very slow reaction from Kimo. This is very un-Kimo-like. This is not what I'm used to seeing from Kimo. He's probably a little bit flustered from the admin loss, but he's still trying to hold on in this game. And we'll see what he can do, as a nice little snipe onto the sky passage. The villagers have moved on to the back position there. There is a very big not economic deficit, but population deficit at the moment that Kimo's going to have to deal with. He's behind by about 40 military population, but his military is very nice. The only weakness for right now is that he doesn't really have the hero Murmillos, and because he didn't go through Oceanus, he doesn't have himself access to what? He doesn't have access to the cheaper hero infantry with that technology. Heroic frontline heroics. But nonetheless, he can still convert them all if he wants. He doesn't have to go to the next age here. And he does have to be defending himself. But going to the next age gives him access to Thea, Stymphalian Birds, obviously going to be really powerful against these Sphinx. Dryads, frontline as well, which are decent against the Sphinx as well. At least a frontline. But anyways, the big question here is Recon going to the Mythic Age, or is he just going to make a big Heroic Age push? As it kind of looks like the Heroic Age push is coming in, as the army charges in onto this position, sees all of these farms, big raids onto the front, big raids into the main base, and Kimo here has to pull back all these villages into the main town center here. As citizens on top of the wood line here, kind of running all around the place, as the army now pops up to the top side. Oracle's getting sent packing. The citizens getting a couple of shanks off as the army retreats, but one does end up falling there. I can only point it out, but I feel like Kimo isn't taking full advantage of these sky passages. He could have 3 out at the moment: one on the main base, one on the gold mine, one on the forward base. And realistically, there's no way to raid. There should be no way to really raid the Serranos here. There's another 2 citizen going down, and then he bails. Man, Recon is playing out of his mind in this game with these raids. Into the main base again. These things go another 2 citizens. Oh, what? Never mind. One gets away with 1 HP. But another citizen going down there as well. And now we see Hyperion to come through. Now we see Boiling Oil and Crenellations as well from Recon, as Recon does lose a whole bunch of spearmen there to those Carabalisters. The Carabalisters should make mincemeat of those spearmen if they get close. And Kimo's army slowly starting to build up. The villager differential now is nada. There's no advantage for Kimo in the slightest here, which is really going to hurt. But with Hyperion coming through, he's moving in a little bit early here, not having himself heavy archers or heavy infantry either, is going to be a big problem. As wow, the villagers they're just like, give me all the food on the map. He still hasn't used Rain. I love this. This is exactly how I want to see Ra players playing Ra. Early farms, no. get all the food on the map, and then rain, and then farm, and then have the good time. And now we're going to be seeing Recon able to go to the mythic age here incredibly. I wouldn't say this is relative. I wouldn't say this is quick, but because of all the damage he's gotten, because he hasn't lost anything, he's able to get to this mythic age in a respectable time with map control, with 3 town centers, while putting insane pressure on throughout this game. Osiris is the god of choice, and this is going to mean an answer for heroes, not heroes, or for myth units in a big way, plus all the other good stuff, as the army here for Kimo now says, all right, time to get a little bit of pressure on, taking out this position. There's still Shockwave available as the Sky Passage on this side getting taken out into the main base. These spearmen are going. So he just doesn't care. Like, it's a town center and a watchtower. Like, what is that going to... A citizen kill there as well. He's going after the main town center as the Migdal stronghold will end up falling. And remember, like what I said before, Eclipse is still on the table. There's going to be mummies coming. Mummy plus Eclipse, plus the Sphinx, plus the Scarab as well. I mean, there's no way to hold against what's coming here for Kimo. He's going to have to figure out some way to delay and retreat and give away a position and somehow bring himself back in. But he is just getting raided into the ground. This is a masterclass in control. And we see the main town center going down with an early Eclipse here from Recon. As the Chaos gets dropped down, a couple of units will fall. The town center will end up falling in the main base. I'm not sure I particularly like this usage of it, but it's still going to be nice to take out the home base and take out a whole bunch of farms. But he's not going to be able to kill off the entirety of the Kimo army here. But nonetheless, the Sling is also doing really well against those Carabalisters. And so now units going to come over and put some defense in as upgrades through the up as well, as Osiris now about to hit. I don't know where the Pharaoh is, but it's going to be able to come in and help out really, really nicely as those Spearmen are doing a great job against the Mamillos. And Kimo having to retreat back. Now we see the Son of Osiris. There's still 10 seconds left of Eclipse as the mummy. Is it going to be able to get some damage off here? Does it get a little spit off? I don't think it matters whether it's Eclipse or not, but he does get one spit off. I don't know if any units are actually going to fall here on the retreat, though. But Kimo, with this army that he's got, he's making Arcus out now. He's about to be 4-2 town centers. In fact, I think he is 4-2 town centers here. Son of Osiris, absolutely gigantic. The army here for Recon is going to be able to push through and start taking out all of these units really, really nicely. And it looks like there's just no way for Kimo to hold here. This game is going to a very quick 2-0 lead for Recon. That was some of the most dominating Ra play I think I've seen in recent memory there. Kimo just not able to keep up with those raids. That was just as simple as it is. He needed Sky Passages in the main base, Sky Passage on the second in the forward base, Sky Passage on the gold mine, and he just needed to not lose any villages. And it might sound easy to say it. It's not easy in practically speaking, but realistically with those 3 Sky Passages, he can be everywhere on the map to defend. He just has to sit in the Sky Passage and then just pop out when the army comes in and just react to it. And he would have been really, really far ahead. I love the strategy. Far second town center against this early Spearman Sphinx for the very early start of the game. Kimo didn't take any damage. When Recon dropped that far second town, or not far second, that delayed second town center, Kimo was like 20 plus villages in front and just way in that technical position there. He's way in front and he would have won that game, but he lost too much, couldn't catch back up, and Recon gets that dub. We'll move into the next game right now. Well, let's get into it. Alrighty, game number 3, technically speaking. In the right-hand corner of the map, in the red color playing as Fushi, it's Kimo. And in the left-hand corner, it is Recon. We got another little cheeky Fushi game here. But he is up against Poseidon. And of all of the gods out there, well, all of the Greek gods out there, I like the Poseidon pick. I think Poseidon's really nice here against Fushi. It does mean that Kimo's not going to be able to go in with those pioneers, which I know that he likes. You go like the Fushi upgrade with celestial weapons, unique to Fushi, gives divine damage onto those pioneers. And if you get mass pioneers and get to the mythic age, I'm telling you, Fushi, people are telling me that Shinong's the best, but I think I can't see how mass pioneers with the Lantern fully upgraded, plus Nejar and the other Deuterino, John Wick, I affectionately call him. I don't see how anything beats that. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a whole bunch of Peltas can win that, but I think that it just won't. It just won't happen. But against Poseidon, you're not going to be able to get to that point because you're not going to be able to go into those pioneers. All the hippies are going to come through and just swarm before you get to that point where those pioneers are just way too powerful. So I imagine we're going to see Recon getting really aggressive here. Recon and the Mister very early on clicked on to the idea that, quick advance with Poseidon into early harass with the Atalanta, with the Centaur is really, really powerful into Hippias and get some good damage done. But Kimo not taking his goats back home. Kimo losing all of his goats. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah. Okay. Recon is in the kitchen. We've seen him use Ares once before, and we're going to see it again. This is pretty rare, in my opinion, but Recon he actually likes the Ares. We see Zhen Nu coming through for Kimo, which I do like. I think Zhen Nu is perfectly fine, reasonable, and good. You get, especially if you want to go for Pioneers. If you're not going to go for Pioneers and you're going to go into more of a normal, quote-unquote, normal composition of units, you go through Chi-Yo. You want to do that. You go Chi-Yo, you make the units and utilize lightning weapons to find an advantage. But Recon with the Ares, I'm not exactly sure what he's thinking here. So idea is either one, nope, Cyclops are bad. You're just not going to go Cyclops here. Maybe Cyclops Hippias as something crazy. Okay, I don't think Cyclops are going to be all too good here. Next option could be Phobos' Spear of Panic, because he wants to get the answers to cavalry out. Prodromus with the divine damage to kill off late game kind of, what are they called? Tiger cavalry. The last option is what? As we do see the Pestilence to get dropped down immediately into this main base. Just trying to see exactly what's happening, I guess. Looks like this is just like a stock standard rush. Does the Cyclops beat this? Looks like it does. There's a Pioneer going to be wandering over here. Remember, Poseidon does have the faster Cyclops as an Atalanta to come through. But behind this, haven't really seen anything coming through just yet for Recon. He's getting himself pickaxe, so meaning he's going to be staying on one town center, most likely here, and it probably means he wants a lot of gold. So I do think it's going to be some Hippias. Maybe the idea here is Hippias a pacifist. So getting out early Deimos' Sword of Dread. Doesn't have any favor income though. But early Deimos' Sword of Dread into making those Hippias a pacifist, meaning that he's got a pacifist to deal with the halberdiers, and he's got Hippias to deal with any sort of archer unit or pioneer or anything like that as well. Theseus now coming out as well. It does look like it's just going to be a second town center though for Recon. It's just a second town center, and Kimo is doing the same. He's not falling for this. This could just be one of the old Recon, just I don't need ceasefire, I don't need Hermes. Hermes doesn't give me anything in this matchup, so let me just go Ares sort of angles. I don't really understand it, but Kimo's not thrown off here. He's got the resources for a second town center. He knows that Recon, unless he's sending more units in, which he hasn't done yet, he's probably going for a second town center. He can sort of sniff that out. And as the army retreats back, as Nejar is in, Nejar does basically win against the Atalanta. He is incredibly powerful because he does this really, really strong burn ability. But sniping that other Deuterino, the Chillin', nice little play there as the town center going to be coming up. And Kimo, he doesn't care. Who cares about goats? When you're playing as Fushi, you don't need resources. You don't need food. I love that. But yeah, second town center up now for Recon. Nice and quick. It gets scouted by what looks to be a free Pegasus, which Kimo was able to grab from a relic there. And he's going to move forward onto this hunt. Now, I'm very interested in what comes next here. Like, I'm still confused. I still don't know what the Ares plan is here for Recon. I mean, another relic they're getting picked up. Not sure what it is. As the Pioneers coming through here with the help of Nejar, will end up taking out the Atalanta. as it does have to retreat back. A little bit of damage. Again, I think the Atalanta, it's not the Atalanta. Well, yes, the Atalanta is also a really good raider, but I think Nejar is equally good at raiding. Like, you just come in, attack these villages, no problems. No need to retreat here. We are seeing some Hippias now coming through as a military camp coming in for Kimo. He hasn't quite committed to anything in particular here, but there will be halberdiers to come through and deal with these Hippias. As Kimo turns, we'll be able to finish off that Atalanta there. Going to be losing a Pioneer or two here on this one. You could probably just run the Pioneers and keep the Najaran to take these fights, but not happening just yet. Trying to get that shoot and scoot in. There he goes. Finally kind of working that one out as Recon will be able to keep one of those Hippias alive there. Nice little play. Can get himself access to that Lord of Forces technology to heal those back up there as a couple of those Halberdier are now out. And Recon can say, oh, you're making Halberdier. Let me stop making units and we'll do something else. Because Halberdier don't really do anything. They're really powerful against Hippias, against cavalry, but they don't really do anything. That's the big thing. Like, they don't have any pushing power. They don't have any building killing power. They just kill Hippias. But into the main base he goes. The Pioneers do something, though. The Nejar does something. Watchtower's coming through here. Hoplight's now the option for Recon. I'm so confused. He doesn't have any favor. He's got 8 favor, actually, in the bank. So he has been trying to get some to potentially get that Phobos' Spear of Panic out. But Kimo is putting a hefty amount of pressure here onto this gold mine, and Recon doesn't have access to on the gold mine here. So Kimo's got some options. We're just gonna see this goat cam for the rest of the game, I think. But Kimo's option here is just to get really aggressive. Like, he's got a fantastic gold mine behind his second town center. Recon's second town center is, I can only put it delicately and say, absolute garbage in terms of resources close to it. This is the worst town center on the map, most likely. Even Kimo's second town center has got something on it with the wood. But the big thing here is that if Kimo wants to, he can just go full send. Full send in the second age, full send in the third age, whatever he feels like, and try and go for a gold staff. Plus, the other angle is here, he doesn't even have to care because he can just say, I can go full greed, because how are you going to be able to kill off my position? Alrighty. Well, we'll see how it's all going to go as the wall's starting to come up here. But Recon has to start thinking about that second gold mine, I guess. Whereas we're going to see Golmang to come through for Kimo, which makes a lot of sense. You get access to that forest protection, meaning still even more greed available. And we've already seen it once. We'll see it twice. We'll see it a million times. If you can just sort of greed out Mythic Age as Fushi, it's really, really tough for everyone to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kimo just say, hey, I've got a perfect map for it. Let me just go for it. And I don't think he's eaten his Peach Blossom Spring just yet. So he's eating it right now. I'm not exactly sure, but he's going to be getting a lot of resources there as the Nejar coming up to the top side, scouting out the town center. Some hoplites looking to wander in, looking to find a little bit of damage, but Kimo's base very, very protected here. Not a whole lot going to be able to be done there. Lots and lots of gold in the bank, lots of wood, food coming through as well. And this is going to be immediate ballet on this gold mine with forest protection into a very quick Mythic Age. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kimo be a little bit safe here and go for Huangdi, which I do think is, while it doesn't give you the powerful heroes or the cheap heroes, I think it is the most safe option when you're greeding out a Mythic Age. But we'll see as Kimo, he's so good at this. He's always going for his upgrades first and foremost. I love it. It's so good. In fact, and they also research really fast as Fushi as well. I didn't actually know that. Those research quick. If they're on favored land. There you go. But we're going to be seeing a ballet coming up on this second town center here for Kimo. We're seeing the Dionysus to come through for Recon, as realistically, Recon, he needs to do something here. He needs to do something like now, basically, right? Like, we're seeing a ballet. Wow, that's an aggressive ballet there for Kimo. He's clicking up through Golmang. So, not Golmang. He's already gone through Golmang. He's going through Gong Gong here, as this palace is coming up right in the face of Recon. Recon not paying attention to this one here. He finally steals the goats in the middle of the map. No, there's still 2 goats over here. And the villagers will be retreating off of this position up to the top side. And there is a Pegasus there. Now, one idea here for Kimo is just to drop Great Flood onto that position straight away and kill off a whole bunch of villagers. Could be an option. Not sure it's good or not. But nonetheless, ballet up. White Horse Cavalry starting to come through. The heroes will basically immediately come through for Kimo as well. In fact, I think he's already got his Najjar out, so that's going to already be really, really powerful. Up to the top side of the map here, Recon's dropping his fortress, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to work. Now, Phobos' Spear of Panic hoplites versus the cavalry, plus versus the heroes. Now, all of a sudden, that armor doesn't really feel as big. The HP pool is gigantic still, but maybe this is the answer that you need against this sort of powerhouse unit. It's just that divine damage. Because you can just actually, like, with 10 hoplites kind of jabbing away at a hero, you're going to be able to kill it off without it being all too bad. Well, okay. Now Recon has stolen the goats, and he's also going to leave. No, he's moving them. They're moving. The goats are moving. The goats are moving. Everyone said, okay, there we go. It's all happening now. And now Phobos' Spear of Panic, Hoplite Peltas, the army composition here for Recon as the ballet to come in. And what's next? Because we're going to see the big bad boy coming in. The Tao Wu charging in here. The Tao Wu, I believe, can just take down farms with its special attack, attacking the town center here as well, as we do have a hero to come up. This Great Flood will come through, sending the army, buying a little bit of time here, hitting a lot of these buildings, but not really killing all of them, meaning no real militia situation, as the forest protection to come down. Bronze is available here for Recon, as he does drop it, but does get snared up with this one as well. Realistically here, Kimo can just pull back if he wants. He does have that Qinglong here as well, which with that special can be very, very painful, and also with the snare as well. Dropping that special attack directly on top of Recon's army here, as it is looking like it is starting to really dry up here, even though it's getting wet by the dragon. But he's going to be able to pick everything off. He's got the position sorted, and now Recon, he doesn't even want to play it out anymore. He just taps out. Wow. I'll say it. I don't think Recon had a plan here. I don't think Recon had any idea of what he was trying to accomplish in this game. And that basically meant that Kimo got what he wanted. Realistically here, what Recon probably should have been going for is full aggression, denying of second town center on top of that second gold mine. And he would have been able to go for a gold staff. Any sort of fast, mythic, I don't care. I'm going full send, probably with Hermes as well, but maybe Ares was totally fine, but full send in the classical age and denial of second town centers here, and keep Kimo in the classical age as long as he possibly can, with raids all over the place. That would have been my idea here as the Poseidon. I probably would have lost though, because Kimo's insane, but a really well played game there from Kimo. He just got everything that he wanted. He played it so nice. He read Recon like a book. This town center grab here from Recon, it just didn't make any sense. If anything, he should have sent the villagers way across the map and just grabbed Kimo's amazing third town center. It's not that much further from his base to walk. But then again, maybe he wouldn't be able to win the fight to grab that. So I don't know. Nonetheless, well played there by Kimo. Not leveling the series, but getting himself one win. We're going to be moving into the next map on Anatolia, and we'll jump in there right away. Alrighty, technically game number 4, even if it's game number 3 here. Kimo is the red Kronos, and Recon is the blue Zeus, as everything is confusing in this scoreboard, but that's what's going on here. Let's not get it too confused. as the dock's going to be coming up on the map, Anatolia. This is must win here for Kimo. Well, I mean, he can go through the losers bracket, but obviously he wants to get that chance to stay in this winners bracket and potentially go on to take on the Mister in the winners finals rather than having to play some more games against some other players. But nonetheless, his dock is now up and he is ready to go as we've got, wow, already a second dock coming up for Recon. He's trying to play around this deconstruction. Now, in my experience here with Kronos on this map, I think he's really, really good against Zeus. I think this is one of those gods which maybe people forgot that is good on Anatolia for some reason. Kimo's obviously remembered that it's possible to play this one here, especially given the buffs to Kara Ballister. But nonetheless, when we're talking about deconstruction on this map, I think the best way to use this is actually on the other side of the map, or starting to use it in the classical age. It's the villagers. Wow, already a villager out here for Recon. He doesn't care. He's like, give me that oracle kill. Let me snipe that down, and let me get some damage done here as Kimo attempting to retreat back, or retreat away from the villager, as he does have his own citizen here, which he could bring over and start shanking as a deconstruction onto a house coming down here. There you go. There's a little bit of spice. I don't think he's going to get anything for it, though. Maybe a villager. Oh. Whoop. Whoop. Wait, who's going to win here? We've got the villager, the villager's house to come through. What is this? What is this start here? Is it almost going to go down? Oh my god. This is too much. This is too much. Well, this is the type of age mythology we love. 2 minutes into the game, we've got some hilarity. The Oracle's still alive. The Citizen's still alive. Recon's had a lot of idle time here. Kimo probably also having some problems early on. He's starting to build a whole bunch of fishing ships out. No dock onto the top side. One big boost that Kronos also got recently is that you can time shift a dock from the right-hand side of the Anatolia to the left-hand side of the Anatolia. So you don't have to send a villager all the way over there. Now, as much as I love Kimo and I think he is one of the best players currently playing the game, sometimes he doesn't read patch notes. Sometimes he doesn't know all of these little cool features, and he will be sending a citizen up here. Nonetheless, another villager also coming up onto this side as Kimo might be losing an oracle here as Recon very angrily starting to shank. You can just time shift over a mana and it should be fine. You don't really want to chase Kronos oracles around. But nonetheless, he is going to be pulling back and he's getting his dock up. So both players going to have docks on both sides. It's going to be a later advance for Kimo and for Recon as well. And I guess let's walk through why I think that maybe Kronos isn't so bad here on this map, and why maybe why we haven't seen a whole lot of the Kronos here, where it's mostly just Zeus. So the Zeus is, well, not mostly just Zeus. It's Zeus or Hades or Freyr or Thor here as well. We've seen Loki here. The reason why I think Kronos is like, well, why Zeus is so good here is because of the hoplites. The hoplites have got that speed to take docks down and they can get some pressure on. Where I think Kronos is actually good is, well, Kronos has got a really powerful now combo in Prometheus and Rhea, as well as also having Implode. But idea is that if you catch your opponent out going for a fast heroic, or not fast heroic, a fast mythic, push him with the Rhea, push him with behemoths, kill off the town center, make a big heroic age push, fantastic. If they're going to go for a very heavy classical fight, great, no worries. Let's pump out Prometheans. Let's get our Kara Ballister out, and we can continue to build docks on the left-hand side of the map and continue to time shift them over to the right-hand side of the map where those hoplites are shanking docks down. So you don't even need to be there to kind of rebuild, so to speak. And once they leave, you can get those docks back up very, very simply. So those are the options there as well. Plus, obviously, Implode to counteract a Lightning Storm sort of power spike, or even counteract a poorly timed Bronze push. Those sort of things can be a very, very good idea as well. So there's lots of like angles here for the Kronos. This is a very late advance time. Recon, quite nice here. 5:15 is getting all of his docks up. He's getting all his fishing ships out, getting a pickaxe queued up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him putting down a very, very early, very quick military academy or two here, as the Minotaur is now out. And we'll see where to next here for both of these players. One little problem I've got with currently what's going on for Kimo is he hasn't actually built any oracles just yet. Can't really make those Prometheans, can't really make that extra behemoth or anything else like that if you don't have those oracles out. It does look like he's actually going for a fast second town center though. which I don't like at all, to be honest. As we do have a military building to come through. It's not going to be a fast second town center. It's going to be a little bit of stuff first and foremost. Jason and Heracles queued up here as the Prometheans wandering forward. Getting spotted here is really bad because it means that Recon doesn't have to care about anything going into his main base, as the Minotaur is going to be headbutting those Prometheans away. Getting another 2 smacks. Yes, he does. He picks off 1 Promethean. As where to next? At the town center. So the town center is going to be coming up now for Kimo, and I think Recon spots this. Recon knows something is awry here, and he says, "You're not supposed to go for a town center in the middle of the map in this one." As an Oracle here, getting sniped down, going to jump straight into this position here. There can be some time shifting shenanigans to try and prevent these units from getting in, but there he goes. He is going to be time shifting in, but a little bit of damage to come through onto this spot as the mana is going to go up fast enough. The town center will be finishing, and Kimo gets away with it. But at what cost? A market up now for Recon, and Recon's going to be going straight to Dionysus here, and which does mean that Kimo's not going to have access to his own heroic age just yet. You can deal with Skylar with just the pokey girl, the Nereid, with 1 special attack, run away. 2nd special attack, it's dead. Obviously, it takes some time and some micro to get that to happen, but you can deal with it. As we've got some Caraballister now coming through. I wouldn't be surprised to see a heroic age behind this here from Kimo either. But it is a little bit on the slow side, as his Caraballister is going to come over and start trying to snipe some units here. He will be having himself a Valor for the Caraballister soon. As there he goes. And got to be careful though. Fighting underneath the town center is going to be fine. But the dock will end up going down on this spot. Kimo's got access to get another dock down there, like I've already said. As a couple of these Bareems getting sent away. And hoplites are now starting to come in. So a little bit of damage to come through with the Hero Caraballister. But still a very delayed heroic age from Kimo. And these fast second town center heroic ages on maps like Anatolia, they're very, very scary, because the amount of advantage you get from a second talent center comparatively to normal is just not the same. Like if I'm ahead 1,000 resources on my opponent, for example, right? But they're at 20,000 resources and I'm at 21,000 versus I'm 1,000 resources ahead and they're at 14,000 and I'm at 15,000 is a very, very different sort of feeling. And that's why these 5 second talent centers don't tend to do as well on these water maps. But nonetheless, 2 Scala now out. Fishing ships getting targeted down here. Kimo not paying attention over onto this one. He's going to be losing units at the top. Head starting to pile up for Recon as well, as he's going to take full control of the map here into the main base. We've got a whole bunch of units to come through here as well. We saw this with the Ra as well, where Recon just says, I don't care that it's your main base. I am going to come in and I'm going to cause problems on this position here, as the villagers all have to retreat into the main town center. You can't quite kill this one off, as the Caraballists are just trying to poke damage and all the good stuff. Skylar's still taking everything out on the water, as Kimo's resource situation is now starting to look very, very dire on the water and on everything else. He will get a Nereid at the top of the map, it looks like, because his dock did get taken out. 1 citizen going down here. And Kimo, it looks like he's sort of panicking from this pressure that Recon is putting onto him. There's the heroic age now in. All the units are queued up for Kimo. I don't know how many military barracks he has, but he's getting Murmillo, he's getting Arcus, he's getting Sati, he's getting Gemini, he's getting Watchtowers as well. But Recon is full send at the moment, and he is getting damage done in a really big way. Villagers on this gold mine getting pushed back into a watchtower, as a couple of Caraballister rolling in here very slowly to get over and support. A couple of citizens going down here isn't the end of the world. Remember, there's still 2 town centers for Kimo, but he's just really hurting at this point. He needs to get his dudes back to work, and he needs to get stuff out, because Recon now, he's going to get a fortress, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay 2 town centers here. Sorry, stay 1 town center here and go to the Mythic Age. Why? His economy is already gigantic. He's got himself 18 fishing ship. He can continue to build fishing ship here without the need to invest 700 resources plus villager train time, or villager walking time village of gathering time on a town center, and he's just going to be able to keep increasing his food income. Mythic Age, Lightning Storm. This is going to be very, very tough for Kimo to hold everything as all of his fishing ships just falling. And I think you got to imagine that this is part of Kimo's plan to have just sacked the water like this. He's getting a lot of units out, and if he can put pressure on and try and deny this center sort of grab from Recon, he's going to be in a good spot. He does have deconstruction here, so even if this fortress finishes, it's not the biggest of deals. He can just kind of kill it off with a deconstruction, and that's exactly what he's planning to do here. Is the Peltast, however, they're going to be very, very painful to deal with. His favor is not quite there yet. What is happening here? Only 2 oracles out, as he's not going to be able to use that deconstruction. Now he drops the chaos. Still no deconstruction onto this position. There's the restoration, and Kimo says, all right, time to pull back. He's losing his Satyr in a big way here. 2 Satyr falling, as all these units now are going to pull back in underneath the second town center and see what they can do. There's another Satyr getting sniped down here, trying to retreat back as the Contaria is coming around onto this spot. One Satyr down. The Arcus all pulling back here, and it's looking like Recon is really pulling ahead with this army. Like, Peltast are just so good against Arcus, and Kimo doesn't want to play it out anymore. He taps out. He took too much damage in this game. I don't think he had the right plan here either, and it just did not quite work out for him. Recon, he just does this too well. This is just really stock standard from Recon in a big way, but more so, I just think Kimo was just so far from like normal, so to speak. If he just went, maybe if he went 2 town center fast heroic, build no ships, build Nereids on the water to hold his water, maybe that was another option for him. Because he built a whole bunch of Satyr. He got to the heroic age really late because he was building a handful of ships, didn't have the gold. But yeah, if he went 2 town center fast heroic, garrisoned all his fishing ships, built the units out, got the Nereids to defend on water, maybe he'd have the resources to sort of say, too bad to Recon here. It's not going to work. Maybe that was an angle, but he didn't go for that. He went for something completely different, and it just kind of didn't quite work out for him, and Recon punished him just perfectly. And that's the series there, ladies and gentlemen. It's only a 3-game series, unfortunately. We missed out on the first one, so hate to see it. Hate to see these sort of things happen to these players. They train so hard to get to these positions, and things going wrong, like not being able to turn up on time. Not sure why. Maybe just slept in. Don't know the full story. But nonetheless, well played by Recon. He's going into the finals to face the Mister. We'll be seeing though that series on I believe it'll be the weekend, but we will be seeing tomorrow Magic versus Kavoth, and we're also going to be seeing Kimo versus, or I am spacing, it might be Kimo versus Matador. I want to say it's Kimo versus Matador. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it's Magic versus Matador and Kimo versus Kavoth. I can't remember. But nonetheless, there are some very fun games to come still. So we'll see you tomorrow with those ones. Make sure you're here at 1400 GMT. And I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.